Well, cheers everyone. Alright, happy campers, g'day. What am I up to? Well, this is just the end part of the awning set up now. You obviously saw how quick and easy this is to set up. Now, full disclosure, I did get this awning at no cost from Norm at Cruizy Campers. This is something that he had planned months and months ago. He mentioned it when I did the first video on the orange camper up at his factory up there at Gosford. And he mentioned that he had an awning, he's changed designs and he's got a new version. This is the 270 Jimny awning, which I mentioned earlier in the clip. And he wanted to give me one. I told him up front that I wasn't in it for freebies, I didn't want anything, but he was quite adamant. We did the video recently on his Echidna crossover van, caravan camper, and he mentioned it again. He wasn't going to take no for an answer. Lovely fella, but he just wouldn't take no for an answer. So he gave me this. He said, test it out, see what you think of it. He wants all the feedback because he does import these from South Africa himself. He brings them in as a sideline to his camper vans or teardrops, and it's brilliant. Honestly, I'm not just saying that, but it is just fantastic. It is so much quicker to set up than the traditional roll down awning. I've still got one on the other side, which depending on our camp setup, how long we're camping for, I can utilize that one as well. But as you saw, it literally is 15 seconds. It's as quick as unzipping the bag and pulling it around and you're done. This is a freestanding awning as well. You don't have to put legs down. However, they do recommend if you've got wind over about 15 kilometers an hour, it is a good idea. On a windy night, for instance, if I'm gonna hop in a bed, I'll probably just pull it down anyway, like tie it down I should say. But super quick to set up. I'll put all the details below, but I think from memory it's tubular steel, so there's not a lot of weight in it. I think the whole thing was about 18, maybe 19 kilos. It's 16 mil diameter stainless steel tubing that's been powder coated, and then at each one of the out bars there is a hole at the end. It does come with poles as well, so if it is going to be a windy day you can put the poles down and then obviously hammer them down with some pegs. However, it will withstand winds up to 15 k's according to the website. So yeah, it's fantastic. I really do love it. It's so much quicker to set up. As I said, you unzip it, pull it around. I've just got a couple of those little ratchet hooks I got from the hardware, and on the loop on the very outer corner I just run that back. I drilled up on the headboard, I drilled one of those eyelets, metal eyelet, and I just hook it onto there, pull the ratchet cord, fixes it in place. Just brilliant. It's so quick to set up and you get plenty of shade around underneath it depending on what time of day you set up. Obviously work out where your sun's going to be. If it's the middle of the day and the sun's going to set behind you, then obviously park so that the sun, like now, is over the back, and that way you're maximising how long you've got this beautiful shade. I'll grab the other camera and I'll do a little bit of a walk around, but it's just fantastic. It's so good. Really impressed with it. Good thick quality canvas, which is reflective on the other side. It's like a silver topped canvas, so you don't get a lot of heat under it. We've used it a couple of times now on day trips, and I had the pleasure of spending a camping weekend up in the Howes Valley, up on the Putty Road, with Peter from Just Straps. He's launching a new product, and he invited me along for a camping weekend and to do a bit of still photography and video, so put links to that as well. But yeah, we had it out up there. Light rain. I hooked some additional guy ropes that I have onto the loops, and I just pegged those down as well, so it creates a bit of a dip, like a V-shaped runoff. So any water that was getting on there overnight just ran straight off, and then the next morning it was just a matter of drying it out once the sun came up. But yeah, brilliant. I'm really impressed with it, and it's very stable. Like, I've had it out, naturally now the wind's died right down, like it literally like it's just switched off. That's so weird. Dead still. But anyway, yeah, if it was windy, you've got that option to tie it down with some additional guy ropes and the poles that come with it. So I'll grab those out and show you. So these come with it. These are from Tentco, the company that make the bags that Norm also imports. And they're just a simple standard twist lock type pole. So they just go up into the hole that's in the top here, like so, down onto the ground. Obviously just take the weight a little bit. Now that wind's come back up, of course. Another one goes into there like so. Twist it off. Now I'm not going to peg it down because the ground here is very hard, but it's just to show you how they work. Another one there, and then there is one over on the corner here as well. And that's it. Spigot goes up into that little hole on the bar. As I said, it's 16mm stainless steel, powder coated all the way in. It's got a good big solid knuckle, if you want to call it that, on the corner here. That is probably, I don't know, maybe 4mm thick, 5mm thick, so good and sturdy. Now all I've done was just grabbed an old LED strip light. This is one I bought years ago at Kmart. I was going to do a review video on these and they've stopped selling them, but it's typically like the one from Kings or Super Cheap. It's just got the little hooks on it, or Velcro, so I've tucked it into the Velcro around these bars and run it back along. I've just left the cord in there. There's a little on off switch there as well, and you can change the colour of the light. And then the USB plug end is here, and I simply just drop it down through the back, like through the headboard, and down into the dog box. There's a USB outlet on the back of the battery box, and I just plug it in there, so I've got full light. I've also got some other little lights that are rechargeable, which I'll show in a separate video. They're also from Kmart. Really bright, really good. So yeah, that's it. Now what I ended up doing, you may have seen on the install video, I originally had the front mounting bracket, I had that up on the roof racks, and the back mounting bracket I think also was on the back roof rack, but it was too much overhang, and the problem was this section wasn't at the end of the tray, it was too far forward, so it was kind of covering up a lot of the tray, which is kind of good in one way because it keeps the dew off all your cookware and everything overnight. But the problem was, if you wanted to sit under it, obviously most of the shade was over the back of the tray. So I ended up playing around with it, and I ended up just putting a couple of high tensile bolts through the headboard, drilled through the top of there, put that one on there. I ended up having to put the tradie rack back on that came with the ute originally. That simply just bolts down through the tray there. 4 bolts. If I ever had to take it off for whatever reason, I can. But at least it's all on the one mount though now. So got the back mount there, and obviously the other awning I also moved back off the roof racks because there was no point at covering the cabin of the car if you want to camp underneath it, because my kitchen's around that side, and I figured that you're better off having your fridge and your sort of cooking area of a night covered over in case you do get a bit of wet weather. So I've moved that back onto the headboard and also the tradie rack as well. So both awnings are mounted to the tray, so there's no worry about movement. It did necessitate moving of this box. The box used to sit right here in the corner, but naturally the box wouldn't fit on with the rack in the way, so I've moved that, centered it up. But yeah, so getting back to the awning itself, so you've got these loops that you can obviously tie down as a rain gutter. There's one on each section or panel, if you like, all the way around. One there, another one there, so you can run all the water off. It's got a nice big thick Velcro band on the very edge of it as well, and you can get walls, I believe, from Norm from Tentco, so you can actually close it in like a room if you wanted to. But yeah, brilliant awning. I really love it. As I said, it's so much quicker to set up. As you saw in the video, I'll do a pack down as well, but it's just super quick. And then all I do is, as I said, I've got a thin cord that simply goes onto that eyelet there, and then over the back of the awning up to the little eye mount bolt there, which I put in the headboard. Now the only thing that I'd probably change, I left it on here for the video so you see how they come from the factory, but they do have this, it's like a nylon rope, and it's got the little guy bit on the end, but it's fixed onto that ring. It's actually like woven on in the factory. It's not the end of the world, however, for a quicker setup and so that when you unzip the bag that doesn't fall out and hit you on the head every time, I'm thinking what I might do is cut that off. As much as I'd like to leave it all original, I'm going to cut that off and take it out of the equation altogether and just use that quick ratchet type. And then if you do need to guy rope it down, in the box here they give you 3 spare cords, basically the same thing, but these ones aren't fixed to the loops, so I could use these. By all means, I'll just put a little carabiner clip on the end there so that as soon as you pull up to camp you're not having to tie and untie that every time you want to put the legs down. Mightn't seem like a lot, but it's one of those things that just gets a little bit frustrating after a while if you've got to keep tying knots and untying knots, especially with this nylon poly rope. So I'll probably just fix this onto some little carabiner clips, as I say, and then you can just clip them on, take them off when you need to. But yeah, it came with 3 or 4 of those as well, so I just leave those in the box for now. Works a treat. But yeah, fantastic. As I said, I'll put all the specs below, the sizing and all that sort of thing, and yeah, if you're interested, by all means check out Cruizy Campers website. Just move that out of the way for now. So the poles came in that bag with it. I didn't realise that they were actually inside the awning the first day that I cracked the box open and undid the awning once it was mounted on there, and they fell out and hit me on the head. But anyway, so super impressed with it. As I said, it's not a paid ad, and I'm not in this for free items, as anyone that watches the channel knows. Normally when I test anything in product spotlight info, any products that I've been sent or any products I request, I always send them back to the suppliers. I'm not just after free stuff, but Norm was quite adamant because I'd put a fair bit of effort into the videos for his teardrop and his echidna a couple of months ago. He was very appreciative, as am I. So massive thank you to Norm up there at Cruizy Campers on the Central Coast. I'll put links to his website below, so if anyone's interested in any of their gear, their bags, the Tentco bags that I did a review on, I'll put a link in the description below to that as well. But yeah, just fantastic gear. They're not ridiculously expensive either, these, and they're not too heavy. A lot of the Batwing awnings, 270 awnings, whatever you'd like to call them, a lot of them weigh in excess of 25 plus kilos. These ones came in at, I think it was 18, because they are designed for the Suzuki Jimny, so they're obviously not too long and therefore not too heavy, being all just tubular stainless, which that's something that you've got to consider is the weight. So I do like that they're a fair bit lighter than a lot of the other 270 awnings. Now, it might seem odd that this is on the right hand side or the driver's side here on my vehicle. A lot of people do put them on the passenger side, and to be honest, ideally if I was going to go out and buy one, I would get a left hand passenger side, because that is where my fridge is and my drawer on my canopy, all the sort of camping gear. We live out of that side, so to speak, and it would be fantastic having a passenger side one. However, that's not to say that I don't really love this awning. By moving the other awning back, at least that can be over the fridge area to keep the heat off the fridge on a sunny day, and obviously wet weather, etc. keeps the water out. But at least now I've got two two areas, if you like, sort of a sleeping area and a living area. So when we do set up a camp, I can set up both awnings. This one obviously will be the preference every time because it is so quick and you've got a lot of room with it. It's quite a workable area, and what I'm thinking I'd probably do if we do camp for more than a night, I'll set my swag up under one of them, more than likely this one, so swag and chair while we're eating dinner, etc. And the other awning's mainly just, as I said, a bit of protection over the fridge area if you want to make coffee or whatever and the weather's not 100%. But depending on which way we camp, I guess it's just a bit of planning when you pull up at camp. So if there was a river there at the back of the car, I would park with the back of the vehicle facing the river, and that way if we are sitting under here having dinner, you don't have your back to the river, if that makes sense. You can still sit, enjoy the river. The other side, you've got your cooking, making coffee, chairs, if you want to put chairs around that side, your swag, so yeah, it'll be good to test it out. Anyway, we've got a couple of camping trips sort of coming up soon, so I'll really give it a proper test run. It's fantastic. As I said, the biggest thing is just how fast it is to set up, not even 30 seconds. So yeah, all the details I'll put below and a link to their website. Make sure you check it out, and if you've got any questions, by all means, I'm happy to answer whatever I can, but if not, email Norm at Cruizy Campers. I'll put his details below as well, and yeah, see what you think. Let me know too, what sort of awning do you use? Do you use a 270 or a traditional roll down? I'd be interested. I like seeing what other people use and getting ideas for different camp setups. Don't forget, we are on social media as well, Facebook and Instagram, so please head over, make sure you like and follow us on there for regular updates. And I would really love to grow the channel. I'm at about 2,500 at the moment. I'd love to hit 3,000 by the end of the year, a bit of a personal goal if I can. We've got a little bit of merch available on the website as well, and any sales always goes back into the channel, so be sure to check that out, fourwheelinginnewsouthwales.com. There is a merchandise page. There's also an info page. Have a look around the site. There's a bit of stuff there on camping and looking after swags, etc. So as much info as I can, I always put on there. Check it all out. Really appreciate you watching too. I can't say it enough. I honestly, wholeheartedly and sincerely really do love and appreciate all the comments, everyone watching. It's just fantastic. So hopefully we can get the channel growing a little bit more and yeah, bring you more content. So I'm going to pack this up. I might just finish this beer, the old Coopers. Thanks to Nastime Adventures too for the stubby cooler from the 4x4 show a couple of weeks ago, and the Velcro patch up in there on the roof. Thanks mate, amazing how much better the beer tastes. But yeah, check it all out and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Here comes the motorbike, so I'll have to cut it there. And remember, as we always say, stress less, camp more. Cheers guys. That is one thing to remember, is you've got to pull these tabs out because they do get folded up in between the panels. So you just got to sort of flip them over before you roll it all back up. And then that there I just loop back up and pop it in the front of the hole like that. Stuff it in there. That way it's ready for next time. And what is good too is they don't scrimp on the bag. The bag's actually a decent size, so it's not super tight where it's going to rip trying to get it in and out. And that's it, done. Goes back on the seat.